strong enough internet connection, is it? At the 12th European Farm Conference, an exciting venue. Gora Fremonande, you see excited screams coming from New Mayapur. The conference is located in a farm, which is very exciting. 4 generations of farmers, and the young son of the family is right here. Come over here. This is Robert with us. Everybody, please. Haribo. Robert is farming for 4 generations, and he's decided to go regenerative, organic, and he's producing grains of different sorts, taking care of the soil, and we learn a great deal with him. With you, you have Premarasa Prabhu, who is also a pioneer in farming, in community development, and resisting times of war. So today we're going to hear from him food production in times of war. Okay? So thank you so much, everyone. And now we'll have the presentation handed over to you. And Vladimir is also a good servant of the Ukrainian Yatra. He's behind a lot of the initiatives to support the refugees. And he's working closely with His Holiness Niranjana Swami, which has a very good community development plan, as you see. So with that, the word is yours. Hare Krishna.
Premarasa Prabhu, пожалуйста.
Харе Кришна. Большое спасибо за предоставленную возможность поделиться своими мыслями.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for opportunity to share with you my thoughts.
Наша община, несмотря на ту страшную ситуацию, которая сейчас происходит в Украине, продолжает развиваться.
Despite of awful situation here in Ukraine, our congregation is developing.
И мы уже вывели определенную закономерность.
And we already worked out a rule.
Чем хуже чувствует себя окружающий материальный мир, тем более благоприятные условия складываются для нашей вайшнавской общины.
The worse world outside, the better conditions we have for developing our congregation.
Каждое потрясение в материальном мире подталкивает преданным к тому, чтобы задуматься о наставлении Шрилы Прабхупады о простой жизни на земле.
And this awful event in material world.
I'm sorry, Vladimir. We had an internet problem here, which we sorted. So could you restart, please?
Окей. Были интернет-проблемы, просят повторить. Я повторю то, что вы сказали.
Повторю.
So, unfortunately, we could say, but Premarasa Prabhu told that the worst situation is outside in the world, the more developing power it gives to the community it's developing, and material world shows that all these catastrophic disasters force devotees to think about what Srila Prabhupada told us.
Первый раз... Да, продолжаем?
Да.
Первый раз это случилось с началом войны в 2014 году, когда был захвачен Донбасс, и первая волна беженцев к нам приехала.
So first challenging fact we had in 2014 when the war started on the eastern part of Ukraine, Donbass, and first wave of refugees came to us.
Второй раз это потрясение было, когда начался ковид, и тоже многие преданные задумались о том, что в городах жить очень тяжело.
And the second cracking we had during COVID time when devotees understood that life in cities is difficult.
И, конечно, особенно это проявилось сейчас во время полномасштабного вторжения, когда миллионы людей остались без крова, вынуждены были уехать, и преданные естественным образом, многие из преданных нашли прибежище в нашем сельскохозяйственном проекте.
And of course, now in the most difficult, when millions of people had to leave their houses, many devotees found shelter in New Mayapur congregation. They came to us.
Преданные использовали его как перевалочную базу в начале своего переезда в западные регионы или в западные страны, и некоторые из них остались.
Also, New Mayapur was used as a transit place for devotees who were on the way to the western part of Ukraine or Europe, and some of devotees, they decided to stay in New Mayapur.
У нас есть небольшой ролик об этом, и может лучше увидеть, чем услышать.
Please have a look. We want to share a video about that times with you, about refugees.
Okay, can I show the video?
Please.
Dear friends, many of you already know about the Share Your Care Fund. Thanks to this fund, people from all over the world help Ukrainian Vaishnavas to get through the horrors of war. In this video, we will travel with you to one of the hundreds of places on the territory of Ukraine where help is provided to refugees who suffered because of the hostilities. For already more than 100 days, our Vaishnava Educational Center in New Mayapur has been a shelter for almost 200 devotees who have been here all this time on a permanent basis, and also for many devotees who have stayed here temporarily. Since the very first days of war, it was clear to us that it's not enough just to give physical shelter for the body, because many devotees suffer from psychological traumas, as they lost their homes, relatives, as everything in their life they have been attached to so much no longer exists. Before the war broke out, we had sold the flat near the proving ground and bought a flat near the military airport. Everything was all right until my husband's telephone started ringing. It was ringing for some time. I didn't go to pick up the phone, and in just about 1 minute I heard a deafening explosion. Hardly had I woken up when I saw the door flying through the kitchen into our bedroom. There was a lot of dust and smoke. What brought us luck was that our bed was located in a safe place. I am a refugee from the long-suffering city of Severodonetsk. All the city is practically destroyed, but it hasn't been taken over after more than 3 months of war. I had to stay in my completely destroyed house for 3 weeks of war, with armored fighting vehicles just outside my place. There was a lot of roaring all the time. The houses nearby were on fire. On the 12th of March, There was such a terrible explosion that our first and second sections of the buildings burst out into flames at once. There was no gas, no electricity, no utilities. Only 3 old ladies like me stayed in that house at that time. There were 7 sections of the building and nobody else was around. Everything was destroyed. I am from the city of Mariupol. The city was being bombed day and night at that time, especially at night. It got really difficult and scary to live there. Every moment you could use your life. Your relatives could die. All the residential buildings were horribly destroyed. It was the beginning of March and for some reason, usually at that time it was already warm, but this time we had frosts at night. Devotees tell that they had to put a lot of warm clothes and they were leaning very close to one another to get warm and to keep warm. They took water right from the river, filtered it and drank it somehow so as not to die from dehydration. My mother and my sister with her family, her husband and her 2 children spent 2 months in Mariupol under the shelling and bombings. At that time we didn't hear anything from them. We worried very much because we knew about all the horror and shelling happening in Mariupol. Against the background of all that horror happening in the town, against the background of all the collapsing buildings and people dying, we continued holding our spiritual programs. We had kirtans, we read Bhagavad Gita, we chanted many rounds of the holy names. We asked the Lord. We asked Lord Nrsimhadeva for protection. Things they told me strengthened my faith in Krishna, strengthened the faith and the support that really exists. It really helped them to get through all those sufferings, all that cold and famine, all the fears and bombings under which they were living. The wave of destruction and devastation is sweeping across the villages, towns, and cities of Ukraine. Many Vaishnavas have no information about the houses they used to live in because of the ongoing hostilities in those territories. My house in Mariupol is destroyed. I have no place to go back to. So I hope to connect my life with the place where I am now, at least for some time. At present, people have accommodation in comfortable hotel rooms and hostels on the territory of the community. Every room has a bathroom with cold and hot water available 24 hours a day. Each family is accommodated in a separate room. People are surrounded with care and attention that helps them to forget all the horrors of war they have been through. Our children started playing and smiling again. To provide long-term and comprehensive care of hundreds of Vaishnavas during the war is not so easy. Many devotees have lost their jobs, houses and all their property. When evacuating, they often didn't even have time to take their personal belongings with them. That's why the community provides them with all the necessary things. We pay monthly utility bills, buy the necessary groceries, keep all the premises and service lines operational. It is especially difficult now to take care of transport needs because the price for pure fuel has increased several times and there is practically no fuel to be found on petrol stations. But the main thing, which always is there, is that we have devotees, deities, the holy name, devotional service, care and warm attitude. Being in New Mayapur, I'm so happy and understand that the well-being which we used to think could be measured with some material things, actually we see real well-being here, now, 100%, pure air, pure food, pure relations, pure service. At this moment I am very happy that I have such an opportunity to serve the deities, to serve the devotees and to stay in this holy place. I am lucky because I know this place very well. It is the holy Dhamma where it is wonderful to be staying. Here we have devotees, the temple, the deities. Here we have all the spiritual programs and wonderful nature. The community is rather self-sufficient. Here you can develop agriculture, beekeeping, take care of the cows, get spiritual education, and make spiritual progress. Everybody likes this place. Dear devotees, the first video about New Mayapur has gone global, and we remember Mataji Indraprabha. Let's ask her how she's feeling after 3 months of staying in Mariupol. I feel great. Here I got what I wanted. A lot of service, a lot of association with devotees, service to Krishna and Prabhupada, and the main thing is to serve my spiritual master. I feel great and very happy here. Here, devotees have given me food, clothes, a safe place to live in. Everything is just wonderful. It feels as if the spiritual world. We don't know how long the situation will last. We make all possible efforts so that devotees can adjust to the new reality, can feel protection at all levels, so that they don't have physical threat, so that they psychologically can stay in the association of devotees, to have the best possible association. And the main thing is that they have spiritual protection. We are very thankful to all those who have been helping us all this time and who is still helping us. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for that report.
Первый вопрос, когда преданные приезжали, вот они ехали с обнуленной своей социальной матрицей. То есть, и первый вопрос, когда они вот в таком своем чистом состоянии задавали, как мы будем жить, что мы будем есть. То есть, где мы будем брать продукты питания. Это больше всего их беспокоило.
When devotees were coming after they lost everything, so their request was quite basic. So where we are going to live and what we are going to eat.
И единственное, что их успокаивало и снимало вот этот первоначальный стресс, это когда мы шли в Бхога-мандир, мы видели эти тонны, десятки тонн зерна, которое у нас оставлено, мы мед, масло различное, мы шли на Гошалу и видели, как наши коровы доятся, и это давало им такое глубокое первоначальное успокоение.
And after they were coming, we showed them our place. We showed our storages with grains. We showed our Goshala with cows. And they were becoming persified, understanding that, it's a safe place.
И мне звонили со всей Украины старшие преданные и спрашивали, как вы там будете сейчас справляться с таким большим количеством людей, на что я отвечал, коровы доятся, зерно у нас есть, мед есть, как-нибудь на хлебе с молоком и с медом переживем.
At that time I had a lot of calls from devotees all over the world, Ukraine, and I asked the question, how you are going to survive with such big numbers of people that came, and my response was that cows gives milk, we have enough grains and honey, so we will survive thanks to milk, grains, and honey.
Вот. И в целом, по милости Кришны, у нас здесь ситуация как на Галоке. Мы слышим, что где-то идет война, мы иногда слышим звуки пролетающих ракет и истребителей, но непосредственно в Новом Майяпуре все спокойно, и преданные живут своей жизнью.
Here we are like on Goloka. We hear that somewhere war is taking place. Sometimes we hear the sound of fighter jets or missiles passing by, but in general, this place, our place, is very peaceful, and we are living our normal life.
Точно так, как на Галоке. Преданные слышат, что демоны, но никто их никогда не видел.
Just like on Goloka, devotees hear that there are demons somewhere, but no one saw them.
Поэтому, несмотря на то, что война, конечно же, принесла свои коррективы и разрушены многие экономические связи, которые помогали нашей деятельности, мы сейчас восстанавливаем, несмотря на то, что мы вот второй год живем в программе «Беженец», мы восстанавливаем и деятельность образовательного центра, и работу всей общины, сельхозпредприятия в том числе.
Of course, war has economical effect on our activity because some economical connections were lost, but despite we still have refugees program. Our community launched again educational program and agricultural activity as a business.
И у нас есть второй ролик, который был снят как отчет о том, что у нас происходило во время ковида. Но, в принципе, на сегодняшний момент все то, о чем там идет речь, сохранено и даже развивается. И чтобы это было быстрее, я предлагаю посмотреть вот второй ролик, и потом еще скажу пару слов.
To let you better understanding what is happening now here, I would like to show you a video that we made during COVID times, just to give you this information briefly. I will ask to show this video because everything that is mentioned there, it's happening now, and it has developed. Kalakantha Prabhu, please launch the video.
Okay, so we're going to see the video now.
This year, 2020, for ISKCON, as well as the whole world, has been unusual. But for New Mayapur, it has been even positive in a certain way. Our main activity, which is conducting educational programs, was practically not affected at all. It just changed a little. Our events became smaller in terms of attendance, but at the same time they increased in number and variety. Quite a lot of devotees use this opportunity to come here because in the cities they experience lack of temple programs and devotee association. Here they can hold their programs, get some spiritual association, and take part in our temple life. This is why this year we haven't felt any deficiency in the activity of our educational center. Nevertheless, we put our main emphasis on growing our own produce. And there are two main directions that we have been able to realize. We planted our own vegetable garden, and it covered all the needs of not only our new Mayapur dwellers, but also of all the guests who came to us. It was very diverse, tasty, and fresh food. So we almost didn't need to buy anything from outside, only the items that do not grow here, like rice, sugar, and so on. It was a blessing in disguise, really. All the devotees appreciated this taste and fortune to have their own produce from the land. Also, this year was remarkable for our agricultural development, as we have finalized implementing the full cycle system that starts from our own seeds and seedlings grown by devotees. In spring, we start by planting them, then they grow, then we gather the crops, process them in various ways, package and sell to retailers. We sell the surplus that we haven't eaten by ourselves. So now we have this complete system that can engage the devotees and enables them to make their living by agriculture, care about cows and land. Also, quite a sustainable example of cow maintenance has been created. The family responsible for our Goshala is able to fully maintain themselves. This year, we have in full provided the cows with our own fodder, some grains, vegetables, and hay. So now we don't need to buy any extra fodder from outside. Our cows eat only organic products. Not all people living in the city can afford such a diet. This year we have tried as much as possible to diversify the number of various crops we grow, in order to cover practically the whole necessary range of them. We've had winter wheat, rye, spring durum wheat. We also planted flax, chickpea, lots of amaranth, which we use to produce some 4 kinds of products, namely amaranth oil, cereal, flakes, and flour. We planted quite a big amount of vegetables as well. Of course, we also have our berry project that is specifically business-oriented and meant for the purpose of financially maintaining the devotees. It has given good results this year, reaching its rated capacity. This year we have received not only European organic certificates, but American ones as well. And just last week we sent our first batch of goose to the American market. Now it's going to be sold in America on Amazon. This year we have also extended our range of winter crops by planting spelt, peas, some binary crops. We are trying to develop in this direction so that as much as possible we could grow all the food necessary for us by ourselves. Also, this year, we have done a lot of work in the field of organizing educational courses on efficient farming for devotees. We participated in the contest organized by the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development and won the right to get funding for developing our own educational program. We have created an agricultural standard named Ahimsa. This work was done in cooperation with scientists in the field of agriculture and was accepted by the EBRD office in the UK. And now we are the owners of the standard. So along with the practical experience that we have with our fields where we work according to the standard, we have a scientifically developed theoretical part, and we can share it with devotees who are willing to do highly efficient organic farming. Apart from growing food products, our devotees have also created a big flower garden for the deities. There we grow flowers specifically meant for deity worship. Besides that, we have held lots of festivals with Nitai Sachinandana, our new Mayapur deities, as well as Jagannatha, Baladeva, and Subhadra, who came to visit us from the Dnipro Iskan temple.
храма.
Haribo! Did you like that? This is the strength we have in our farms in ISKCON. And I think I'm pleased from my heart. I'm feeling excited and enthusiastic that so much good things are being shared. So, Vladimir, with a word.
Примараса Прабhu. Я готов перевод.
Я закончу такой краткий обзор нашей общины. Она состоит из двух основных частей.
I will complete a short overview of our community. It consists of two parts.
Это наставление Шрила Ниранджана с вами, и мы на практике убедились, что такое разделение очень хорошо помогает избежать многих конфликтов.
We were guided in this separation, means by Srila Niranjana Swami, and we faced that this separation protect us from many conflicts.
Первая и основная часть, как это положено в Дайве Варнашами, это храм, и у нас он выражен как образовательный центр.
The first and the main part, as it to be in Daiva Varnashrama, this is a temple, and in our case, it's also educational center.
В нем проживает около 25 преданных постоянно. Сейчас намного больше, потому что живут беженцы. И также туда периодически приезжают преданные на различные образовательные программы.
25 local devotees live there. Now it's more because of refugees, and also visitors, devotees who comes for education live there.
Те преданные, которые проживают постоянно, они, как правило, уже ведут отреченный образ жизни. Это или в основном ванапрасхи, или брахмачари, или же грехастхи, которые уже имеют пассивный доход и никак не зависят от поддержания храма.
So constantly such categories as grihastras who such categories of devotees as vanaprastha or devotees who is engaged in preaching, or devotees who has outside income, live in this center.
Все недвижимость, все имущество де юре и де факто принадлежит ИСКОН.
All property belongs to ISKCON.
И вся деятельность совершается на добровольной и бескорыстной основе.
And all activity is based on volunteer base.
Как в религиозной организации в храме это обычно делается?
Just as a usual practice activity in the temple. In a temple.
Главная цель и задача храма – это давать духовную заботу членам общины и проповедовать через образовательные программы.
And the main aim of such activities for those devotees is spiritual care of congregation, and also providing education for visitors.
Круглый год проходят образовательные программы, и образовательный центр может разместить от 150 человек студентов зимой до 500 летом.
During the year, educational programs take place in the New Mayapur, and in winter time we can accommodate up to 100 devotees, and in summertime up to 500.
В течение года обычно образование проходит до 3000 человек.
And about 3,000 devotees get education during the year. So up to 3,000 devotees come to New Mayapur to take a part in educational courses during the year.
Это как небольшие группы по изучению бхакти-шастр, где-то около 20 человек, так и большие ретриты и фестивали по 500-400 человек.
It could be small groups to get Bhakti Shastra course, like 20 devotees, or 400 devotees that comes for retreats and festivals.
Вторая часть общины состоит из грехаст, которые живут вокруг храма, в близлежащих селах и в строящейся Ахимса-вилледж.
And the second part of congregation, it's a grihasthas that live in villages around, and Ahimsa village that is under construction now.
И все проекты общины, аюрведический санаторий, наверное, будем перечислять. Гашала, сельхозпредприятия, пасек 5 штук, Ахимса Вилледж, Ахимса Маркет и многие другие. Это как проекты грехаст, к которым храм не имеет никакого финансового отношения.
And there are projects such as Ayurvedic Sanatorium, Gashala, Agricultural Enterprise, Bee Gardens, 5 units, Ahimsa Village. These projects are separated from educational center from the financial point of view.
Premarasa, Prabhu,
Yes.
that's a very interesting point, and many people may have questions. Shall we get questions from them?
Это очень интересный пункт, и, возможно, есть вопросы. Можно задавать вопросы.
Yes.
Yes,
И
we have...
одну фразу, то есть грехастки, которые ведут свои проекты, они самостоятельно ведут свою деятельность, сами решают, какую часть своей энергии в форме денег, времени и усилий отдать храму. И после этого вопрос.
Just to add one more sentence. So Grihasthas that lead this project, they decide their own which part of their money, time or efforts to bring to the community.
Excellent. We have here the first question coming from Sanak Sanatana Prabhu, who lives in India, in Vrindavan.
Первый вопрос от Санак Санатана из Вриндавана.
I'm very much happy about this project. I have I'm totally new to that. I have a beginner question: is how big is your property, and how you been able to originally acquire that property?
Очень рад за этот проект. И первый вопрос: какими активами обладает этот проект? Имеется в виду собственность. И как вы получили эту собственность?
Образовательный центр мы купил Днепровский храм, преданные как целевое пожертвование. Это был бывший пионерский лагерь, и он расположен на 3 гектарах земли, и в нем где-то помещений около 4000 квадратных метров.
So the one part is this educational center that was bought. Originally, it was a camp. We call it Pioneer Camp, but it's like
Children camp.
Yeah, a pioneer center. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
pioneer center. And it was bought by devotees from Dnipro temple. So it's Grihasthas that bought it and made this donation. In general, it has 4,000 square meters of buildings.
And it's about 3 hectares, right?
Yes, and it's located on the area of 3 hectares.
Сельхозпредприятие обрабатывает 150 гектар земли.
Agricultural enterprise operate 150 hectares of land.
Oh, certified organic.
В Гашале у нас на сегодняшний момент 31 голова, 31 корова.
And we have 31 cows now altogether.
И 3 лошадей.
And 3 horses.
У нас есть 5 пасек общей численностью около 300 пчелосемей.
5 bee gardens with numbers of 300 houses.
Ну и много другой различных мелких подсобных хозяйств, там лесопилка, гончарная мастерская и прочее.
And many other activities like sawmill, potter workshop, others.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. I have a question myself. The topic of our presentation is food production in times of crisis, and you showed many aspects. Premarasa, a question for you personally. Did your production of grains have an impact, and how did it have an impact in hosting refugees?
Тема нашей сегодняшняя тема — это производство продукта во время еды, во время войны, и как вы могли бы ответить, как вот этот момент повлиял на то, как преданных вы приняли, как это влияет на прием преданных или возможность принимать беженцев и заботиться.
Да, я уже вкратце сказал об этом, что несмотря на то, что война началась среди зимы, внезапно наши склады это были полны зерна, коровы давали молоко, то есть были запасы других продуктов, там семечки, из которых мы масло получали. Вот, поэтому с этой точки зрения мы чувствовали себя абсолютно защищенными, потому что мы могли обеспечить и достаточное разнообразие, и полный рацион. И хотя, и как я повторюсь уже, преданные испытывали определенный страх, когда они видели это изобилие, то они успокаивались.
As I told before, despite the war started at winter time, we had enough stock. So we have a lot of grain in our storage. Also, we had oil seeds that we used for oil production and other items that we had in our storage, and it had very pacifying effect on refugees when they saw that we have enough food for them.
Thank you.
Есть определенная в этом очень важный момент, который, я считаю, нужно обсудить.
One important point I would like to discuss.
И судя по теме конференции, и я думаю, это один из главных вызовов перед всеми преданными, кто занимается сельским хозяйством.
It's related to the topic of the conference, and I think it's one of the biggest challenge for devotees who is engaged in agriculture.
На сегодняшний момент мы решили для себя первую поставленную задачу. Мы перешли от дотационной модели сельского хозяйства, которая обычно существует в общинах преданных, когда для того, чтобы поддерживать коров или землю, преданные вынуждены собирать дополнительно пожертвования, что, в общем-то, противоречит наставлению Шрилы Прабхупады, где он говорил, что земля и коровы должны быть основой экономики.
So at this moment, we sorted out with the situation when as it was in the past, that congregations were donated by other devotees. So even agricultural congregations, they were collecting money for hay and so on. And it is opposite what Srila Prabhupada aimed.
То есть мы решили этот вопрос. У нас сейчас сельское хозяйство приносит доход и может поддерживать храм.
So we sorted out this issue. Our agricultural activity brings income and it can support temple.
Но мы по-прежнему зависим от доминирующей культуры, потому что землю мы в основном обрабатываем при помощи тракторов и других механизмов, требующих горючего. И что мы во время войны очень сильно почувствовали, когда был дефицит и начали расти цены.
But we are still depend on dominant culture. It means that mainly we cultivate land by tractors that demand fuel, and during the crisis, war in our case, prices increased a lot, and we felt this very much at the moment when war started, especially.
И на сегодняшний момент мы ставим себе задачу, которая потребует гораздо больше времени для ее решения. Это переход от тракторов к более независимой обработке земли при помощи быков и людей.
And now we declare the goal to convert from tractor power to bulls and men's power, and it's very long-term goal.
И для себя мы рисуем такой треугольник, где сторонами являются земля, коровы и люди.
And for ourselves, we make such triangle with three components: sides, land, cows, and people.
И во всяком случае у нас нет проблем с землей на сегодняшний момент. В принципе, можно очень быстро развить стадо коров, но самая тяжелая часть – это найти людей, которые согласятся в этом участвовать.
At this moment, we don't have a lack of land. Also, it's easy to increase cows number. The most difficult part is to find people who is interested to be engaged.
У нас есть определенные задумки и программы, и мы постараемся их внедрить.
We have some ideas and programs, and we are going to implement. We will try to implement them.
Premarasa, thank you for bringing this topic here. I brought Robert here next to me because yesterday night we spent about 1 hour in a very interesting debate, and it was the transition from machine power to animal power, to ox power. And we even had a discussion why transition. And it's an interesting debate. which is still happening. We're still going to finalize after this presentation. Not today, but will take us a long time, right, Robert?
Yes.
You were in the second group. You want to translate for him, and I will. We'll discuss about this.
Прямо раз пробу. Нужен перевод?
Ну, да, лучше, чтобы я был уверен, что...
Вы затронули важную тему, и вчера вечером была дискуссия, в том числе вот с Робертом Прабу, о переходе к этой тяге, коровьей тяге, бычьей тяге.
I thought I could tell him a little bit what we discussed yesterday, and then invite him to stay. He can stay, and we can finish our debate, and then we have our Sinhachulan presentation. What do you think? No, I can just leave the computer on, and Vladimir will translate, and we will continue our discussion. I mean, he will end his presentation, and he'll become a member of the circle as a listener because he wasn't present.
У них
Is that
будет
okay with all?
продолжаться дискуссия по этой теме, дебаты.
So we're inviting you, if you like, to stay a little longer in the call. I'll keep the computer on so you can see us, but we'll continue the discussion. But I brought Robert here to report to you what his group, which was mainly the engineers and Ox Power and the implementation group, and the challenges. So many challenges, right? I heard 25. So would you like to report to him some of the discussions that you had?
И группа Роберта, она выработала вопросы к обсуждению, потому что это было дебаты и была разбивка на группы. Нас преданные приглашают стать частью этого круглого стола. Они немного нам расскажут из того, что вчера они спродуцировали. И технически они могут оставить участниками круглого стола просто вот через компьютер.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Premarasa, so you accept to stay a little longer. So Robert, you first.
The first thing is what comes to my thought is that is there a need to do this transition? And of course, if there's no gasoline and you have war, it is not comparable to our situation because we are thinking about to have ox power from an hour. In my farm, there's no need for it, but I have idealistic ideas to do this or spiritual thoughts to do it. So, but if there's no gasoline, it's of course another situation. In our group, I think it's we know that it's hard to do because there are so less devotees who could do plowing or something with some work with ox power. So in my case, I also looked like with engineering classes. What we Vladimir, maybe I stop for a moment.
You can just finish your idea and I will.
Yeah, thank you. Because I'm talking longer than it's the essence is shorter. So we think about technical solutions to have both. We go forward with tractor and also don't forget the ox power and let the bull moving because it's so important. It's my I'm enthusiastic to think about that the bulls had to move because they are playing and that's Kali Yuga could not hit chop the last feet,
last leg.
He could not chop the last leg because when the bull is moving, Kali could not catch it. And
I will
and
translate.
there's yes.
То есть Роберт сказал, что они начали думать, нужен ли переход и транзакция. Это, в принципе, конечно, в нашем случае, когда нету топлива, то тут ответ очевиден, но в их случае у них другая ситуация. И Роберт пришел к мысли того, что он хочет видеть это через призму инженерии и, с одной стороны, давать вовлеченность быкам, потому что это последняя нога, да, дхармы, и мы должны это делать. В то же время использовать также и технику, потому что они также не могут отказаться от нее полностью.
Да, я хочу только сделать одно замечание. Мы тоже не думали, что у нас не будет топлива.
Just small remark from Premarasa Prabhu regarding different circumstances. So we also didn't expect that we will not have fuel at one moment.
Okay, very good.
Let me
He wants to. He will say one more point before I move to Shama Sundar.
Yes. I will be quick. So when I joined the Hare Krishna movement, the first minimum 5 or 6 years I serving the brahmacharis because they are doing book distribution with vans, cars and vans, yeah, and they want to go by plant oil. So several years I was changing diesel engine to going by plant oil, also used plant oil. This was my beginning for my first service. Couple of years, we were changing many vans from Simhachalam, Leipzig, Temple, Yatra. So my solution for the moment is this transition must be. We are using the knowledge and the engineering advancements, the techniques. We don't want to throw them away. We're using the internet right now to communicate with you. But then on the other side, for the self-sustainable, there's a need to be prepared for some situation where we need, for example, there's no gasoline. So this is for me the transition.
Very good point. Very good point. You want to translate that, right?
Роберт Прабу также отметил, что 5-6 лет он посвятил тому, что он переоборудовал автомобили и микроавтобусы брамачари, которые распространяли книги. Он переводил их работу с топлива на растительное топливо. То есть его подход – это использовать современные технологии также максимально эффективно, например, как мы используем интернет. Это его подход.
Shamasundra has some points.
Actually, our topic was transitioning between petrol, you could say, from horsepower to ox power.
Yeah.
And there was many topics we could have discussed, but we mainly were looking at ox engines, the ox drive engine systems, and particularly in regard to producing electricity.
Мы также в нашей дискуссии основной акцент сделали на вовлечении быков в какие-то тяговые механизмы, и мы пришли к генерации электроэнергии. Yeah.
A number of very, very interesting things came up from our discussions. Even the practical thing about human energy involved with just basically walking in a circle all day. How do you deal with the psychological dilemmas of such a system? And practically speaking, it would require shift work. Someone using the mill, someone using the oxen. So you have to rotate that kind of activity. Simple thing, but a very practical requirement for that type of machinery.
И также мы обсудили, что нужно будет менять деятельность для этих быков, например, также задействовать в мельницах такого типа оборудования. Yeah.
When you get into the economic analysis of the time it takes to produce electricity using oxen, then the electricity doesn't have the same economic value as the cost of the human energy to keep the bulls moving around in a circle. So it's not something you're doing to save money. There's other factors that have to take into account, which Robert has inferred to.
И с экономической точки зрения они посчитали, что работа с быками, то есть человек, который будет занят в том, чтобы организовать вот быка, который будет ходить по кругу, я не знаю, имеют ли они идею, что он будет ходить рядом с быком все время или как, но человеческое время, оно настолько дорого, что с экономической точки зрения стоимость энергии электрической, которая будет вырабатываться, она незначительная. То есть с экономической точки зрения это невыгодно. Я?
Vladimir, what we do is we have many. He's got 25 points. So what we're going to do is, Premarasa might have a point that he'd like to say. And then we have a short break, and then we'll make a circle and let you two you can visualize us and hear us, but we'll do more the group dynamic. Is that okay? So it'll be two members in the circle.
Yes, we will appreciate if you send these points just by messenger. It's very interesting to read them. Премараса Прабу, возможно, вы хотели прокомментировать, и тогда после этого будет перерыв, и потом мы уже как участники круглого стола попытаемся организоваться.
Да, большое спасибо за информацию. На удивление, мы думаем точно так, что у нас такие же идеи, и мы видим, что нужно, для того, чтобы задействование быков было эффективно, их нужно задействовать вместе с какими-то механизмами. В каких-то работах они будут более эффективны, например, как транспорт, в экономически это гораздо выгоднее, во всяком случае, вот в таких работах на поле. И то же самое мы сейчас вот заканчиваем делать генератор, но экономически мы посчитали, что это выгодно, потому что мы рассчитываем, что один человек будет задействован и обслуживать там где-то 6-10 быков, которые будут вырабатывать электроэнергию.
I must confess that we think in the same way means to combine ox power with mechanism.
Horsepower. Ox power and horsepower.
and yes,
horsepower is also attractive to measuring horsepower. So
yeah, and of course it's very efficient if bulls are engaged in transport and field work. Also, we are very close to finish a generator electric power station. So we bought generator, and now we're make fittings to combine this generator and bulls, and our economic side, we are going to use to engage one person that will handle with 6 or 10 bulls. Then it should be economically efficient.
Также
Thank you.
во всех проектах с быками мы обязательно учитываем навоз. Мы его перерабатываем при помощи червей в биогумус, и это тоже дополнительный доход, который повышает экономическую целесообразность.
Also, in our economical model with bulls, we take into account manure, dung, and it also increase economical efficiency because we process them in with worms in nutritions.
Excellent. Well, very good, Prima Rasa. This is excellent. So what we do now, we have a small break because we've been sitting here for some time, and then in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, how much time?
10 minutes.
We get a request for 10 minutes. We will reconvene, and then we'll put you in the circle so you can visualize and hopefully listen, and we'll report our discussion from yesterday. Is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Shama Sundraji. Thank you, Prima Rasa. Thank you, Bhakti Vladimir. We'll now end our YouTube transmission, but you can stay here with us in the same platform. Okay? Thank you all for listening to us. This is an attempt to share with you the good work that's been done in our ISKCON farms. This one is from Ukraine, and you heard so much about it. The next point is a discussion on the transition between horsepower to ox power. And because of dynamics, we'll let you have this information later. Hare Krishna. All the best. Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Так мы